when the counselors were at camp, they felt a big responsibility when they went to the lake. We were still using our swimming pool for the lessons, but there were times where they would be at the lake with the counselors. So we felt that the lake needed to be used, but carefully, and the counselors to be trained in life-saving as much as possible, according to their age. The responsibility of teaching swimming is a very big responsibility. I think I was in the water most of the time because I had been trained so, but also I wanted to see my volunteers and help them along the way as they were teaching these children also. The volunteers were generally mother volunteers who had other talents in their life. And so training at the Y was very important. And I think that made for a better program. The program kept growing, excuse me, because of the leadership of Zeno Moore and the other full-time workers at the YMCA, at the Evanston YMCA. And we just kept starting programs according to the need of the community. After Camp Wannago, we started, and Vicki Burke was very crucial in that because she then was my assistant after Sarah Updike. And we started the 2-year-old camp because we had 2-year-olds that were in many of the programs. After that, a lot of different camps were starting. The whole Y staff was working together, and this created more programs and more interaction of boys and girls and men and women. The YMCA was basically for men until those years in the 60s when things started changing. We got more swim time, we had more facilities, and but it was a very difficult time to change some of the ways that the Y had been mostly for men and boys. I think the key to it was that families in the Y and individuals did need those services. And the Y had the wonderful facilities since it's 125 years, so a long time that they were serving the community. This way it served all of the community. We had people coming in on contracts to learn to swim from different schools. Montessori came in, St. Mary's, and different other groups would come during the day. And so we felt we were serving not only the Evanston Y community, but also the whole community. And I think that was very important. As time was going on, we could see that some of these women who felt very comfortable teaching at the YMCA would go back to full-time teaching. And this was a way of preparing them for that. As they went back to work, there was more need for childcare. And that was very large in the 70s and 80s, and probably is still today. But back then, for the mother to go back full-time, along with the father's full-time, created another need not only for temporary babysitting, but for full-time care. The Child Center from St. Mary's closing developed a whole school for us to see and hold programs there and still have them come to the Y for their swim lessons. It made for more facilities. We added another pool, and the child care was compatible with the classes starting so young. And with the classrooms and the cafeteria, that program has grown and grown. I think the YMCA, with its many programs, but also its trying to create, as I said in the beginning, the whole person, the body, mind, and spirit, Camp Echo, going to see the spiritual side in the nature is a fantastic way to show a development of a child. The adventure clubs, the teaching, the tutoring, helping children, it just seems to be a huge part of the Evanston community, and the outgrowth of many different staff members and leaders in the Y and the directors. Bill Geiger himself grew up in the Y, and it's just wonderful that he can bring back some of the same characteristics that when he grew up. And so there are some things that just never change, and I was fortunate enough to teach my own grandchildren at this YMCA. If you stay long enough, you can do that. I believe our family has been so blessed to have this opportunity to not only be a part of their mother's work, but I always felt it was fun to be with other people and to see what they're learning and to interact and socially and physically, and it just helps the whole community to grow together in all these different facets of life. One of my favorite programs was called the Learn to Swim program, which seemed to be, for 1 week, it seemed to be an awful lot to learn to, short time to learn to swim. But we had so many caring volunteers that would hold the children in their fears and make them feel so comfortable that these children would come back every year. These are ones who, for whatever reasons, couldn't afford the classes and were not exposed that much to swimming. It's so important that all children learn to swim, and this was very gratifying to me to have children who were fearful of the water become very comfortable, and we'd always have it with a little fun time, so they learned that water can be a lot of fun. My dream for the YMCA is to carry on the wonderful things that they're doing now, but always be aware of the needs of everyday life and the needs of the world. This is an international organization, and they can have an impact on everyone's lives all over the world. When I came to the YMCA, the boys and the men were swimming naked, and therefore I never saw them. The doors were always locked. But by the time of 1977, when we started all these programs, not only did we need more time in the pool, we needed the men to suit up so that we could walk in and out to see, to bring something or to get something. And I was vying for the job of the aquatic director. I got the job, but the men were not very happy about putting on suits, so it took 6 months before they would suit up. The boys by then had already had suits because they were having girl and boy swim lessons, but I had to be the lifeguard sometimes if the lifeguard was late. So here were naked men in the pool, and I would turn my head, and then I'd bring my head back, and my eyes would kind of go around the pool to see if anyone was on the bottom of the pool. So finally I said, I can't do this anymore. Either I will be the aquatic director and the men will suit up, or I don't have to be the aquatic director. So the women won over that year.